Well, howdy, y'all. It's Danny from Market Explainer. We're firing on all syllables over here. But before we jump into this next story, let me tell you about Acre Gold. It is the new store of value, same as the original store of value. Timeless, thoughtfully designed, guaranteed to retain value in a way your cash never will. 2.5 grams of gold is an excellent weight for the first time gold buyer or the seasoned investor. You click the link down in our description down below. You can go to Acre Gold and you can start building up an account with them. And once you have enough money in your account, they'll send you the physical gold because it's not like inflation or printing money is happening, right?
Stop it. Stop it. All right, conspiracy theorist Danny.
There's
I'm going to
not-
need you
no,
to
hold
put
on.
like a hat on when you say things like that or,
Okay.
whatever. I won't say
Right.
tinfoil hat, but something just to
A
say
hat.
not
hat.
market explainer not responsible for Danny's insanity. But go ahead.
That is not okay. A story that I love. We have this one. I adore it. And Big Man's gonna have some things to say about me liking the story. But former Netflix staffers charged for making $3 million on insider trading. Which let me just go ahead and say this is my personal opinion. I don't represent Market Explainer in this next sentence. Insider trading is not a crime.
Yes, it is. Okay,
It's a
I knew Danny was going to
crime.
start with this. All right. So obviously, this is market.
It's
explainer.
manufactured as a crime. It's not a real crime.
The story is that
No
to the tune
victim,
of at
no
least $3
victim,
million.
no crime. No
Okay.
victim, no crime.
But
That's
there
the
is a
rule.
victim, and I'll get to that. But here's the deal: insider trading has a definition, right? And I'm going to put it simply: insider trading is simply put people using information that the public doesn't have
Correct.
to make money from trading stocks. That's the key that the public doesn't have. Because I'll hear people like Danny all the time make an argument that it's all insider trading. And that's there to a degree. You are 100% right. Because I put public knowledge when it comes to stocks.
Right.
I'll put it in the same category as informed consent when it comes to medicine. Can you truly give informed consent? Do you know as much as a doctor? No, you don't.
No.
Are you trusting that surgeon is going to do everything to help you, to save your life, to fix you, to whatever?
When you're
you have
unconscious.
no idea what's actually going to happen to you. Public knowledge when it comes to stocks is the same way. What do you define as public knowledge when I say, does that just mean I put out a press release saying that here's what's happening with my company? Because nobody reads those except for nerds like me, right? The masses, as the general public doesn't. But these guys made stock trades and continue to do it after they were employees by using current employees. Made trades before that information was submitted out to stockholders, to the general public. And that's what makes it illegal. That's what insider trading is.
So the reason I say it's not a crime is because no one in Congress has ever been hit with charges for insider trading. But if you look at their portfolios, they're outrageous. The performance on the portfolio...
Not a political show, because otherwise that would be a whole can of worms right there with...
Right.
They shouldn't be able to do that. But go ahead.
But I'm just saying, right, as a general statement, and I'm not picking a side. I'm just saying anyone in Congress, Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever. Right? And particularly the Speaker of the House, which we're only looking at this one. There have been other Speakers of the House. We could have, I don't know what their numbers look like, but this one, their portfolio is nuts. They're trading on
prior but that is insider trading. If I know you're about to get a contract, but it hasn't been granted yet, and I buy your stock and make money off of it, that is a definition of insider trading.
Correct.
It should not exist. That's why insider trading is a crime and should not exist.
You know, if you ever heard of the Showtime show Billions?
No. But
okay. Well, yeah, it's basically based on what's the guy's name? SAC Capital, Stephen A. Cohen.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, they never really convicted him of insider trading. It's like so the problem is it's a really granular subject. Like you have to dig down really deep to determine what is and isn't, you know.
Well, but here's the difference between the past and now, and this is one of the things I liked about the story. If you were trying to nail somebody for insider trading in the 80s and 90s, very difficult process. When did you get information? When did you make the trade? How do you follow the paper trail? In this, you know how they caught these guys? It wasn't an SEC guy. It wasn't a guy looking at a file or looking at a computer file going, wait a minute, what there was no red flags. Nobody called in and said, hey, did you look at these guys and doing this or whatever? They were found by an SEC algorithm that said, hey, this is happening. This is happening before this is happening. And look, this is the future. So when you're red flagged by something like that, you got to think it's going to be easier to prove that this was insider trading. These guys were buying and selling Netflix stock before, based on subscription. This is all happening again. Market explainer, right? Explaining things. This was all happening as Netflix was growing through the roof, right? Their rapid expansion of online, direct content.
I think it says it's between 15 to 17.
So all of that rapid growth of subscribers, right, of what we now know as Netflix, right, of it happening, and these guys were going, oh, we're about to release that we've 400% of subscribers. Yeah, let's buy the stock, and then we'll sell it within a week after it, you know what I mean, punching through the roof or whatever. And it was apparently originally, and this is why I say it's going to get easier, this article knew that it started out with a guy working at Netflix that started this. He realized he was making money and didn't get caught. So what do? You bring in a partner that then brings in another buddy, right? And then they can just continue because they weren't getting caught.
Right. But they did get caught, right? And like any government program, even the algorithms work slow. They caught them a little later than usual.
Well, but that's the whole point. If you ultimately go down to, that's all it takes, right? Is an example. Right? All it takes is for these three guys to go down now, even though it happened 3 years ago. It takes three guys to go down now to prevent it from happening in the future. There's a reason it's called making an example of.
Right, yeah.
You prevent... Look, the people that are going to do insider trading are not going to stop, whether these guys go to jail or not. But you're going to prevent the gray area guys. Right?
So what's interesting is, a fellow Texan, Mark Cuban, was once accused of insider trading, and his attorneys and other people, from what I recall, had said, hey, listen, most people just pay the fine and they get on with it.
Right.
Mark Cuban, on the other hand, was like, nope, I'm going to pursue this, pursued the litigation rather, won the case. Basically, the person who filed the charges got fired, and that's why we have the app Dust, because they got him on email saying that he was insider trading. And it's like, well, I think they said something like he was trying to make a lunch order and he was speaking code.
Well, usually this is a civil case, but in this case, in the Western District, right, D.C., Washington, D.C., they have filed a criminal case. They want these guys to go to jail. That's what's different about this, okay? They have filed this case. All four of these people, the three originals, and then the one guy that probably wasn't even really involved, he just kept feeding them information. They have filed criminal cases against all four of these guys in Washington, D.C.
Again, it's just my personal opinion. This ain't a crime. But I think when you say Western District, I think you mean Washington State, because isn't Netflix based out of there?
I'm sorry, it may be Western.
Because West.
Yeah, not D.C. District of Columbia, Western District of Washington, which means Washington State. The point is that's where Netflix
doesn't matter, but
that's where they filed a criminal, and they only do that if they think they're going to win, right? They ain't wasting their time. Criminal is much more difficult if you don't know the difference between criminal and civil. Civil is the much easier route. A jury just has to be reasonable, right? Criminal, it's reasonable doubt, right? So different, and so the fact that they filed a criminal case to these
that means they're probably going to get nailed here, which again I think is a travesty. But hey, I'm a wacky person, right?
Well, let's just say that wouldn't hold up in court. The fact that Danny thinks that it
should. It should.
The fact I'm not walking up into a court of law and going, well, Danny thought it was okay. That's not a defense.
Yeah. Well, it should be. Because I don't think that's a crime. It should be.
Danny of Market Explainer told me
that's correct.
It should not be criminal.
It shouldn't be. It is, but it shouldn't be.
I think it should, because businesses and business information, stuff like that, should be available to the public so that the public and stockholders can make appropriate decisions before other people make money.
What he's referring to is a level playing field, which is actually a zoning issue. Office reference that no one will get. One of my favorite jokes in The Office.
I love Office Space.
Yeah. Kelly Kapoor says something about, well, in regards to the level playing field, that's actually a zoning issue. My favorite. Okay. But
right.
anyhow,
nobody that's watching this podcast is gonna get that reference, but you know
because it's too much of a deep cut.
It is.